stage, we will also be continuing with a very special first talk. We will dive into the world of Web3. Web3, a word that you hear quite often these days. But what is it all about, and how is this industry impacting us? That being said, Nova, honey, please tell us, who's our first speaker?
With a passion for pushing boundaries on Web3 and blockchain technology, our next speaker has become a leading voice in the industry. As the former chief marketing officer at one of Belgium's largest Web3 startups, and having raised more than 22 million in funding, he has first-hand experience in the challenges and opportunities of this rapidly evolving space. He will share how these technologies are shaping the future of the internet as we know it today. Please welcome on stage Yan Ketelers, co-founder of OG Studio.
Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Yan. I'm the co-founder of OG Studio, and I'll be here talking or educating or maybe inspiring you with the wonderful world of Web3. Let me put this here. It's my goal, and I will go fast because I have a lot of slides, but you don't have to remember everything or understand every technological part of Web3, but I will try to inspire you with some cases. I will also talk about our challenges from an entrepreneur to aspiring or existing entrepreneurs, how it is to be founding a business in a very, very early market. And then, of course, who is OG? I will introduce myself shortly as well. Now, first, what is Web3? Who knows what Web3 is? Don't have to be scared. I'm not going to be asking you on stage to explain Web3 or blockchain, so go ahead. Who knows what Web3 is, or kind of? OK, that's more. Nice. Epic. So I'm going to do a little test. Again, I'm not going to ask anyone on stage, but just I want to know how far you are in your Web3 journey. So you can all put your hands, or one hand in the air. And then when I click, so for example, who owns crypto? If you own crypto, you keep your hand up. Who owns crypto? OK, so we have more than 50%, which is nice. Who owns a wallet? Cool, keeping up, logically. Who owns MetaMask? MetaMask is a type of wallet. Still have like front row is doing well. Who owns NFTs? Still have a few. Those guys going strong. Who is part of a token economy, like DAO or, well, we still see a few, cool. And then now, who experienced with DeFi protocols? Nice. Last question, who has more digital wealth than real world assets? And we still see hands going up. I love it. It's the first time that this happened. Well, for you guys, how we call them in the space is proper degens. So you are true degens. Now, who is OG? We're a full-stack Web3 partner. We are a team of 4 co-founders, and in true fashion of Web3, we have one undoxed member, so that's somebody behind the scenes that doesn't want to display his identity, so it's a he. And we're active, so we have Lambi, Thomas Lambert, who is leading creative and everything brand-related. Samuel, he's our lead strategist. Gilles, who is a degen on our team, who does everything tech and operations. And then you have me, more in business and commercials. We're also part of, or founders of, events in Belgium. So we have the 0x32 community that you might know, Web32, which I will touch upon later. And then globally, we're also part of bigger communities. Now, what is our mission? Mission, very important to state it. So we help brands and organizations solve their business challenges with the opportunities that digital ownership brings. Let's dive into why Web3 and what is Web3. So Web3 is the next iteration of the internet built upon decentralized networks that enable digital ownership. Still a bit complex, so I'll explain it with some cases. How better to explain Web3? By going back to Web 1 and what Web 1 was. So Web 1 was an open information protocol. So you could go on the web and then just get information. That was the only thing that you could do back then. Web 2 is where you can start sharing information as well. fora, but also social media arised, but also web shops, through creating your own web shop. Web 2 came with issues on some level. For example, you didn't have the ownership of your own digital assets. And one of the things that struck us a few years ago was a girl, her Instagram name was Metaverse, but then suddenly Facebook, Meta now, took it away. So we were, that's not fair. She built an audience, she had a lot of followers, and then the centralized platform like Facebook takes it away. Those challenges are solved in Web 3, where you can build applications upon decentralized networks that are able to store and share value. But most importantly, the only thing that you need to remember is that you can now have ownership of digital assets. Why does that work? Thanks to blockchain. So explaining blockchain very simply, blockchain is an open ledger or even an open database where you can't change anything in the past. So when I give a Bitcoin to someone, and that person gives a Bitcoin to another person, and that person to another person, it's done through an open ledger. So everyone sees what happens, and everyone can validate it. What's the biggest change in Web 2, or not having blockchain technology, is that you don't have centralized authorities having to check it for you. So you don't need banks. Same with the hospitals can share data without having the need to have central authorities. Same with your mail, you don't need central authorities, etc. So that's what blockchain brings in a very simple way. And for us, Web3 or blockchain technology is a new game with new rules for businesses. First of all, because of its decentralized nature. So decentralization, again, means that you don't need those middlemen. So let's say Uber. Uber needs the application of Uber. Airbnb needs the Airbnb application. Facebook or Instagram, all your followers are the followers that you have on that specific platform. So if that platform goes down, you basically would lose those. Decentralization solves this. And the beauty of decentralization is also in fundraising. So a good example here, who plays golf? Okay, a few of you play golf, then you know it's very difficult to now have a membership at a golf course. So in America, those guys that did this had the same issue. They saw it, and they said, hey, we have to wait 3 years to have a membership at the golf course. Let's build a DAO, which is a decentralized autonomous organization, and let's raise money. And with that money, we buy a golf course. And everyone who gave us money will get an NFT, and they can play at our own golf course. Crazy idea. 48 hours later, they raised 10.4 million. So that was a year and a half ago. And I think last month, they purchased their very first golf course, which is pretty epic. Now, another thing is interoperability that we will get. Interoperability, you can compare it to files on your PC. So a PDF, when you send a PDF to a Windows computer or to a Mac computer, everyone can open a PDF. While in Web3, you're going to get the same, but on a higher level. So imagine your name, your handle, your Twitter handle. This is going to be interoperable through other platforms. So we're going to start building from the value layer, and then we're going to build platforms on top of them. You don't have to understand this today, but for businesses, that means a whole new business model opportunities. And then Web3 is a tool, so it's tech, it's a techie tool. I always say, like, when you send an email to someone, you don't have to understand how SMTP works. You're not going to say to your mom, hey, I SMTP you something on the Telenet network. No, you just send a mail. Same with Web3. Web3 is a tool. And the tokens are not only cryptocurrencies. Our tokens can be membership passes, game assets, digital currencies, collectibles, certificates, diplomas, digital receipts, awards, art, can be a lot of different things. And how we describe an NFT, so an NFT is a non-fungible token, so that means that a token is not the same of another token, unlike Ethereum, where one ETH is the same as the other ETH. And an NFT is basically a wrapper around an asset that already has existing values. It could be for a ticket for this conference, for example, it can be an NFT. And that wrapper, what does that wrapper? It gives superpowers to the NFT. So powers like I can rent it out, I can sell it, I can get my goodie bag digitally because I own that NFT. I can log in to see the keynotes afterwards on the website. Those are the superpowers that you can attach to an NFT. Same for game assets, same for art, same for digital currencies or money, same for your identity, and also same for events and event memories. And the best way to illustrate this is a video that we created with a well-known artist. So you see here, we know festival fans, they like to collect their festival bands, they like to collect other things. Imagine you can collect this now digitally through a system that enables to connect with other collectors. So this is what the power of NFTs could bring to you. It can be totally free. So I imagine that the next festivals that you'll be at, you will have those kind of NFTs that you will be able to collect. It's called the Proof of Attendancy token on the Proof of Attendancy protocol, POAP, for people that know. POAP is one of the technologies that makes this happen. Now, new rules, new games, new revolutions. And a lot of you are in marketing or understand marketing. Well, Web2 marketing is basically the arbitrage between your customer acquisition cost and your customer lifetime value. So if you spend ads, but the customer that you convert has more value than the ads you spend to acquire him or her, then you're good. Then you have a good marketing system. Well, Web3 changes everything. Web3 is based on communities and alignment of incentives. So suddenly, thanks to Web3 and issuing tokens to your users, you're going to align builders, your investors, and the users to grow the platform, because everyone is winning. So there again, a whole new concept for marketeers. Loyalty revolution as well. Starbucks has a great loyalty program, but now they built a loyalty program on Web3 where you can collect stamps, and then with those stamps you can order very exclusive coffee only for you. Membership revolution as well. So we have our own token club, which is a business club for people interested in Web3, and they get a token, they get an NFT from us because they've been selected, and they can select future token or future members of that club. Now, with the token, they can access on a website, they can access specific content for them, they get access to a token-gated WhatsApp, so that's possible through Web3 as well. It's a whole new canvas as well for the creator generation. Imagine now the digital things that you are making can have value, can have superpowers as well as NFTs. Now, another good case is with fan engagement. So this is the case of WAGMI United. So it's a club, I think, in English third division now. They're not doing that well on the sportive side, but they're doing great with building a community. So they issue tokens to everyone, or everyone can become a fan and buy a token. And then with that token, they get perks, they can go to games, they can decide which player is going to be hired, and so on. So a lot of utility attached to that token. Token-gated commerce, another game changer. So we all know paywalls when you go to the TED, and you see you have to be a member to see this article. Same thing, so it's not a paywall where you have to pay or have an account, but it's a token-gated or a token wall where you have to have a token to see specific content. Shopify is doing great work in that, so people that own a specific NFT can purchase exclusive goods. Education is going to be totally revolutionized. This is the sandbox. So the sandbox is a metaverse environment where you can learn. In this example, the person learns about wine, and at the end, he gets a wine certification or a wine expert certification. Metaverse commerce, walking around the metaverses, buying stuff like Coca-Cola is doing. And then we see a new way of doing business, the direct-to-avatar business. So we know direct-to-consumer, but now we also have direct-to-avatar. So your avatar needs to be dressed, needs to be cool, needs to network, needs to get certifications, etc. So new business as well for existing brands. Filters, those filters that we all know because you're all on Snapchat and TikTok. But those filters so what you see in those filters are digital assets that are owned. So now you can suddenly also showcase your digital identity and personality to your friends to filters. Another example on raising funds is the Constitution DAO. The Constitution DAO was a team of crazy friends again that said, okay, we're able to purchase a constitution, the American Constitution. And the story is beautiful because they say we want to bring it back to people. We want to make it co-owned by the people. And then everyone who purchases or gives money to pitch in will get the token, the people token. And then with the people token, if the value increases, we can purchase other things that we're going to store to bring culture and yeah, big monumental things like the Constitution back in the hands of the people. So they were able to raise 47 million euros. They lost on the last day on the bidding, but it proves that in a couple of hours they were able to raise $47 million for this. Huge market. Now what we do at OG is we cover many buzzwords. So we cover NFTs, blockchains, DAOs, DeFi, tokenization, memberships, interoperability, all of that. We help brands with their transition by educating them and by helping them innovate. How do we do this? So we work for different levels. That means entry level, the scholar level, where they don't know much about Web3. We help them, we educate them. The experimenter that does small MVPs, minimum viable products on Web3. The innovator level that goes one step further, creating decentralized applications. And even the pro level that already has a team dedicated for Web3, where we bring advice on what they should do. Now, building in this market and seeing that not so many of you really know Web3, when I asked you in the beginning, you can only imagine like people that are twice your age, that are in a board in a big company, they don't know nothing about Web3 and they don't want to know anything about Web3. So it's the same like the digital transition you see now with Web3. So if you have a lot of challenges, and I think the best video or interview to illustrate this with Gary Vee, I'm going to play it now on screen.
Context. I mean, at this point, you know, it's an avenue not just to make a lot of money or lose a lot of money, but it's also an avenue for money laundering, and it's also a place where white supremacists apparently are taking options. I mean, it's problematic at best in so many ways. How do you see what's happening in the crypto space today?
I don't think the crypto space has any more problematic issues than the internet, society at large, mainstream media, Wall Street. You know, I think it's a new avenue of innovation, and I think every avenue of innovation has good characters and bad characters. So how do I look at it? I look at it as a new platform where consumers and humans will evolve, and all the good and the bad that comes along with human behavior will play out on the platforms.
What about the exciting world of the NFTs?
I think
a lot of people
NFTs
say
are
that these are
grossly
things that should not
misunderstood by
have
mainstream.
values.
Yeah, I mean, people thought that Andy Warhols and Jackson Pollock should not have value. People thought that sports cards should not have value. People thought that sneakers should not have value. The thought of people deciding on their opinion of what should or shouldn't have value has made me laugh my entire life and has historically been incorrect. The market will decide if something has value. So for me, it's more about understanding why people buy NFTs. It's the same reason that people buy Chanel handbags and Nike sneakers and Mercedes-Benz. This is about brand. And if you look at the behavior of the under 15-year-old crew, Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft, if you look at why people care about blue check marks on Instagram or how many followers you have on TikTok, we are living more and more increasingly in a digital landscape, and NFTs become assets to communicate who you are, and that's something human beings have done forever, bought things to communicate, and NFTs will be the scaled version of that.
Pretty exciting words from Gary Vee. He touches upon that digital identity only, whereas we also say like ticketing and all existing things with value can have that wrapper that creates those superpowers. But this is what we struggle with on a daily basis. Well, Web3 is still seen as the dark web or the cowboys in digital landscape, or people that want to make money with trading crypto and all of that. And yeah, it exists, but it also exists in the Web2 world and in the traditional world. And it will be solved thanks to Web3 and open ledger technology, because by default, it's transparent what you do. So it's even a solution to the issues that she was stating. Now, other things is also the metaverse and Web3. People see the metaverse same as Web3, or VR the same as metaverse and Web3. So we had a metaverse wave last year, and everyone was contacting us, make us a metaverse in Roblox. for us, Roblox is perfect, but that's not what we do. We really help in Web3, and we see Metaverse is a small part of Web3, and Metaverse should have Web3 in it, but it's two different businesses. Same with AI. Now with the AI vibe, we saw a lot of LinkedIn experts going from Web3 expert to AI expert. Great for us, but it's not the same, AI and Web3. They are overlapping things, but it is not the same. So what we do, we try to solve through education. So we said, OK, we're business consultants, but we need to educate the market first. So that's why we do a lot, like on our LinkedIn. If you go to OG Studio on LinkedIn, we give a lot of courses, a lot of content. We explain a lot of cases from brands in Web3. We also organized an event. Last year was the first one with Web32. 32 stands for the land code of Belgium, of course. If you scan that QR code, you won't get free tickets, but you can follow us on Instagram and get notified when we will drop the tickets. And we will have a student price as well for very affordable tickets. It's going to happen in Antwerp. And that's the way we educate also the market on the possibilities of Web3. And we get a lot of crazy international speakers on that event. So yeah, it's in September in Antwerp. So yeah, to finalize with our mission, we're here building for the ownership generation, for digital ownership generation. And I wanted to end with a very simple, for me, for the team, a very inspiring video on the same thing that happened, but in Web2 with Bill Gates.
What about this internet thing? Do you know anything about that?
Sure.
What the hell is that exactly?
Well, it's become a place where people are publishing information.
Right.
So everybody can have their own homepage. Companies are there, the latest information. It's wild what's going on. You can send electronic mail to people. It is the big new thing.
Yeah, but you know, it's easy to criticize something you don't fully understand, which is my position here.
Go ahead.
But I can remember a couple of months ago, there was like a big breakthrough announcement that on the internet or on some computer deal, they were going to broadcast a baseball game. You could listen to a baseball game on your computer. And I just thought to myself, does radio ring a bell?
Pretty awkward today, but that happened. And I'm not saying that OG Studio is the next Bill Gates or whatever, but we really believe in Web3, and that's what we want to convey. So if you're interested, hit us up, and thank you for listening to this.